कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश बेकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवारी सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मुज जनेऊ साजे। सकल सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई, तो प्रिय भरतहि संभाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जब कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कबि कौबिद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपत दीन्हा। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मैली मुख बाहि, जलदि लागी गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सवारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूटहि बंधि महासुख होय। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्ध साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। पवन तने संकट हरन, मंगल मूरति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राम. So, in the previous session or two, we have been trying to understand the gurus of Raghuvansh, gurus of the Ikshvaku or Suryavansh dynasty. And we understood that gurus are very important because they are able to guide you. A true guru would be a person who can see a lot beyond what we can see, knows a lot more about the past, and is very, very attuned to the present also. In other words, the vision is greater than our vision. He has a bird's eye view, he has a closer vision, a lot of things. So having a guru was very essential for Raghuvansh, Ikshvaku, Suryavansh to reach where they reached, having Ram in their lineage. We talked about Raja Harishchandra, but what Bhagwat talks about Raja Harishchandra is a little bit different. In Bhagwat it is said that Raja Harishchandra and Shaivya were not having a child, and hence they prayed to Varun Dev. When they prayed to Varun Dev, they said that once we have a worthy child, we are going to hand him over to you. Like the fairy tales, right? It happens in the fairy tales also. However, Rohit was born, and then what took over was Mamkara, where you get attached to your child and you do not want to part, and that is but natural. This is another Leela. And Raja Harishchandra kept delaying it. He said, oh, he's still a child, let 12 days pass. Oh, he has not gotten rid of the milk teeth, let the milk teeth fall. Oh, he has not been initiated. Oh, so and so and so. And finally, Rohit actually found out that Varun Dev was going to take him away. And so he escaped. And he, at that time, is said to have done a lot of tirath. After being guided by Narad Muni and Indra, they told him not to go back. And so he did a lot of tirath. And finally, Varun Dev lost his cool and he cursed Raja Harishchandra, and he got a very weird stomach ailment. And when Rohit found out about it, he wanted to come back to save his father and surrender. However, again, Indradev, Narad Muni said that you cannot sacrifice your life, you cannot give up yourself to Varun Dev. Why don't you take a substitute? Yes, this kind of a pratha was there before. So there was another Brahmin. He volunteered or was given over by his father, and he was taken. And in the journey, it is said that he met Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra promised that nothing would happen to him if he chanted those verses which were given by Vishwamitra. And so it went on exactly like that. Nothing happened to him. And his story we are going to, his name was Sunashep, and his story we are going to study, his life history, what happened to him, in great depth when we reach the later chapters. As of now, Rohit was saved, Sunashep was saved, Raja Harishchandra was cured, Varun Dev was satisfied, and everything went off well. Now you might wonder that we have always heard of Raja Harishchandra as the one who always kept his word and he never deviated from his path and all. Well, that is what he was. That is his image. And this is also an episode in his life. Probably it's not mentioned in many of the scriptures, but Bhagavatam highlights it. Just because of one lapse does not make a person untruthful or characterless. This was also a Leela. This was a Leela so that Rohit could do all those pilgrimage, meet all those sages, do all the tapasya which was needed to carry forward his father's task. And as for Sunashep, he had to be liberated. Later he was liberated. So this kind of a Leela, this kind of a play was done to benefit both Rohit and Sunashep. Now how is it possible? Of course it's possible. We are rotating, isn't it? Yes, there's a rotation happening. Sattva, Treta, Dwapar, Kalyug. Sattva, Treta, Dwapar, Kalyug. It goes on happening. And in chapter 2, we have studied about, chapter 3, I think, we have studied book 3. We have studied about the life of Brahma and how many yogs, how many kalps it is taking place. And then the Leelas are repeated with a slight difference. So maybe in one of the kalps, this Leela of Raja Harishchandra was repeated with a slight difference based on what was needed. Yes, every Treta Yuga, Sri Ram takes avatar. Every Dwapar Yuga, Sri Krishna comes. Every Satyug, there is a different Leela. And this is repeated. The cycle goes on and on and on. And there is a slight deviation. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you come across a lot of scriptures with a lot of contradictions, don't get deluded. Don't feel, अरे पता नहीं कौन सा सही है, कौन सा गलत है. Don't become fanatic about this is right and that is wrong. That is not the purpose of the scripture. The purpose of the scripture is to make you a better you. And to that extent, different ways of narration is taking place and different leelas of the Lord are taking place. Learn from what the story tells. Don't debate over it. We have this tendency of becoming very rigid. And then when we become very rigid and then when we break, we become so. When we become rigid, we become brittle. And when we become brittle, we break very easily. If that is happening while you're reading any text, close it. Because the purpose is not being served. These scriptures make you softer by the day. They make you very, very accepting. They make you very gentle. You become very inclusive in your tendencies. That is how we can gauge what is the change that is happening. The minute we become rigid instead of fluid, there is something wrong that we are doing. Our path is not on track. Stop. Think. So, this is another story I have told you in a very brief way. And it's interesting and we are going to read about it later. But today, we are going to talk about one of my favorite stories. We are in book 9, chapter 8, where we start reading about how Sri Ganga came to earth. Yes, we've heard, many of have heard this story, many of us have heard the story. Sri Ganga descends on earth. How? Again, it is because of the Suryavanshis. And it's beautiful how it unfolds. And the more you read the simple narration, we feel that it is packed with all the wisdom of the scriptures. Now, assimilating Ganga, getting her down, is not easy. What is Ganga? Ganga is knowledge. Right? Ganga is knowledge. And how does she flow? She flows from up to down. But हम तो नीचे होते ही नहीं है ना. We are superior. We are always up. We always know that the Ganga does not come. To get Ganga down, humility is very, very, very important. You have to reach to a phase where I know becomes I do not know. And this is what. See, we are in book 9, right? Book 9 is Ishnu Katha. Ishnu Katha, to understand Sri Krishna in book 10. Unless and until we are humbled, we are able to put our head down, we are able to put our noses down, can we understand Sri Krishna? We can't. It's a systematic process of mellowing one down. That does not make you weak. Being accepting, being forgiving, being loving, being all-inclusive does not proclaim a person to be weak. It makes you strong. That makes you ready for the divine knowledge. Now, after Rohit, there were descendants. And then, down that lineage, came Baruch. Baruch was a king in the Suryavanshi lineage. He came down after Rohit. Rohit ruled well. Then the descendants, and all the names are mentioned in Bhagwat. And finally, it reached Baruch. But by the time it reached Baruch, Baruch was invaded and he had to give up his kingdom. So unfortunately, he could not hold on to the empire and he went off to the jungles. And he said, it's okay if I've lost the empire, it does not matter. Let me just do tapas. Right? Take God's will. Jo ho gaya. So that point, the entire empire was lost to invaders. Now he and his wife sat in tapas. And it just so happened that over the course of time, Baruch left his body. And there was a pratha that his wife also wanted to ascend to Vaikuntha with him. However, their guru, again, the importance of a guru, to tell you what to do when, their guru stopped them. Aurav was the name of the guru, Aurav. And he stopped her. He said, no, you're carrying a child and hence you cannot ascend to Vaikuntha with Baruch. She said, okay, if that is the case. And it so conspired that when the other co-wives found out that she was expecting and they were not, there was a phase of jealousy. And so, at that time, the other wives poisoned this lady, this queen, who was expecting Baruch's child. What happened? Nothing happened. Sagar, that is the name, Sagar is surrounded by poison. He survived. And he was born. And that is why they gave him the name Sagar. Sagar is surrounded by poison. And Sagar, it so happens, was a very great ruler. He was able to get back his father's kingdom, so much so that he became a universal monarch. He ruled very well, and as promised to the Gurus, he did not kill in the name of capturing and conquering. However, he would give punishment to the people who had wronged or who had cheated in a very, very funny manner, if I may say. He would probably remove their hair or their mustache, whatever was, declothe them, and such kind of punishments were given, or defigure them, but nobody was killed or harmed in his kingdom. So the punishments were given like that, and slowly he regained the entire kingdom and became a universal monarch, a king of the entire world once again. Started ruling. He had two wives. One was Sumati and one was Keshini. And he was a very pious king. From Sumati, he had 60,000 sons. From Keshini, he had a son called Asmanjas. Oh. Under the guidance of his guru, they said, let's conduct a yagna, a Ashwamedh yagna. And that was a pratha at that time. And we have heard about a lot of Ashwamedh yagnas in those days. So the Ashwa was left free. And the Ashwa, wherever the Ashwa went, would become his territory. And anybody who had the courage to capture the Ashwa would have to fight with Sagar over that piece of land. So this was the last realm of the Ashwamedh yagna. After this yagna would be completed, Sagar would become the universal monarch. Last realm, last yagna, very essential. So it was being conducted, and the Ashwa was let free. Sagar, his kings, his family, the yagna was being carried out. They were waiting for the Ashwa to come back. However, it just so happened that the Ashwa did not come back. Why did the Ashwa come back? The horse, because Indradev, yes, the one sitting in Amravati, panicked. He said, Agar Ashwamedh Yagna complete ho jata hai, if this Ashwamedh Yagna gets completed, I might lose my kingdom. Now, how is it relevant that Indra would lose his kingdom by Sagar completing an Ashwamedh Yagna on earth? Indra is the ruler of heavens. Does not make sense, isn't it? What is the correlation over here? Why does time and again Indra panics? We'll get to that. So what Indra did is, he took the Ashwamedh Ashwa, the Ashwamedh Yagna's horse, Ashwa, and he hid it down where Kapil Dev was doing his tapasya. Now, Kapil Dev was sitting in deep meditation. We know Kapil Dev is one of the Swarup, or one of the avatars of Sri Narayan only. So he was sitting there, and behind Kapil Dev, Indradev went and hid the Ashwa, the horse. And there, in the kingdom, there was a great chaos as to where has the horse disappeared. Now, first thing is, nobody has the courage to take over the horse. So how can the horse disappear? Who had the courage? Now, all the kings were present in the yagna. They said, none of us have taken the horse. We support you, Sagar. You are a universal monarch. We don't want to fight with you. Nobody in any of the loks, not only earth. Earth is one of the lok, right? There are 7 below, 7 above. There are total 14 lokas. So that none of the lokas, none of the people residing in any of the lokas had the courage to take the horse. Then where did it go? So he summoned his sons, 60,000 of them were the sons of Sumati. And he said, go look for my horse. Go look for my horse. Get him back as soon as possible, because we have to complete this Ashwamedh Yagna. Okay? The sons went. Now these 60,000 sons, they went looking in all corners. They dug the earth. They uprooted the trees. They shifted mountains. Not only this, they went to the ocean and disturbed the entire livestock of the ocean while looking for this horse. Everybody was disturbed, distracted, troubled just because they were looking for the horse. 60,000 of them digging, harving, cutting, chopping, moving, and creating havoc everywhere because they wanted that horse. And finally, they felt that it is not on earth, let's go down below. So when they started digging below, and the four elements holding all the cardinal points also started shivering, and finally they reached a place where Kapil Muni was sitting under the tree doing his tapasya. When they reached there, immediately they looked at Kapil Muni. Again, it was evident and visible that it was a sage doing his tapasya. However, because the Ashwa, the horse, was behind him, they started rebuking, they started shouting, they started cursing. They said, "You are the thief. You stole this horse. You took our Ashwa. You are a hypocrite. You are so and so." The judgments were passed. The words were said. And negativity actually started floating all over. And this negativity, which was being uttered by 60,000 of them, proclaimed them dead. Yes, the minute such thoughts, such words come out of somebody's mouth where another person is being demeaned, is the cause of that person's demise. We have no right to judge or say anything about anybody else, no matter who he or she is, because we do not know their full story and we never will be able to know. And more often than less, whenever two people sit, this is what they do. Assess your conversations. So the minute a negative thought, the minute gossip, the minute backbiting comes out of your mouth, you are as good as dead, you are as good as destroyed, you are as good as burned to ashes. It is very simple. Nobody kills anybody. In Gita, when Arjuna is lamenting and Shri Krishna is trying to tell him, "Are Murak, why are you lamenting? The people you see in front of you are already dead. You're not going to kill them. You think you are the doer. You have so much power that you will destroy them without my will. They are already dead because of their karmas. Because of what they have said, because of what they have done, because of what they have uttered. Because of lack of vigilance." वाणी एक अनमोल है, जो कोई बोले जानी, ये तराजू तोल कर फिर मुख बाहर आनी. पर हम तो सोचने से पहले मुंह खोल ही देते हैं. Without thinking, we speak. Don't speak without thinking. And assess your words. Is it truthful? Is it kind? Is it needed? If it is truthful, is it kind? If it is kind, is it needed? If it is not truthful, is it needed? Again, assess, does this word need to be said? This is how precious our words are. But we have no control because we have to talk. And what is the point of talking? Whatever we have in our mind or our heart never comes to our tongue, right? हम सोचते कुछ और है, बोलते कुछ और है, करते कुछ और है. We think of something else, we speak about something else, and we end up doing something else. There is no harmony, there is no alignment, there is no point. These words are futile. That is why most of the sages, after a point, do not know what to say, because what is being said and what is being understood will also be different. Such is the power of words. When the words are used to demean somebody, when the words are used to rebuke somebody, when the words are used to hurt somebody, those words are as strong as fire. And that fire does not destroy the person whom you are talking about. The fire destroys you, the speaker. And sweet words, kind words, soothing words are like Amrit. Now these 60,000 sons were in the control of Indra. Indra stole the horse. Indra hid behind Kapil Muni. Indra influenced these 60,000 to create a havoc around the world for their own personal benefit. They did not realize that just because I am looking for something or I want something, I have no right to disturb the peace of anything else. Just because I want to cross the road, I have no right to startle a cat. My right ends where somebody else's right begins. मुझे करना था. अरे भाई तुम्हें करना था तो सोच समझ के करो ना. Just because you want something, think, are you creating a disturbance all around you? But they did not think. Andhidhun, that is why we always say, be careful, don't use the word passion. Passion is blind. In our scriptures, passion is not appreciated at all. And what do we teach our children? What do we teach ourselves? Be passionate about something. You have to have that burning passion. Burning passion makes you ruthless because it kills discrimination. And without discrimination, if you act in the world, you will create more good than bad. More bad than good. Because with discrimination, if you act, more good will be created as compared to bad. It's very simple. So passion makes you blind. Passion makes you one-pointed. You do not even care whether somebody else or something else is being disturbed in the process. And that somebody else or something else could be somebody very important. Something very important. Do we have a right to destroy what comes on our path just because of our goal? No. Many a times we have seen people who are focused, who have worked their entire life to reach somewhere. But they know this, they have learned this. An athlete almost able to cover up and win a race would stop when somebody else stumbles and help him through because there is no passion. Yes, there is hard work, but hard work with discrimination. Yes, there is a goal, but the goal is not heartless. We have become a generation of heartless people. कैसे भी करके हमारा काम हो जाए, दुनिया भाड़ में जाए. Really? So this was the 60,000 sons of Sumati who had lost their reasoning because Indra was controlling them. Now what is Indra? Indra, first of all, is a designation in heaven. Right? It is not the name. Every time a new Indra is allotted based on the karmas. Heaven is not a final destination where you live permanently. You go to heaven because of your punya. The minute the punya becomes zero, because in heaven, punya accumulation cannot happen. Good deeds and bad deeds. The good deed accumulation happens only as a human. In heavens, you live off the money or you live off your punya. The minute your punya has become shid or it has become finished, you are kicked out. You are not asked to leave politely. You are literally kicked out of heaven and you come back to Mrityu Lok, and depending on your journey in the past, you are born in different yonis. Yonis are species. And this human yoni will come or not, God only knows. That's why even Devas sitting in Indra are totally overawed by the human birth. They wish, they are envious कि काश हमें भी human birth मिल जाए. Because this birth is the birth by accumulation of punya and later on the capacity to give all your punya to God. So Tikshna, Agastya Muni, all of them, when God came, he said, what do you want? They said, we do not want anything. But God, we want to give you something. All through our lives, we have a bundle, a basket of good deeds that we have filled. We offer all our good deeds to you. Everything to you. Are? But with these good deeds, you can go to heaven. With these good deeds, you can do so much. You can get mukti also. Arey, nahi, kuch nahi chahiye. God, all our good deeds, all our punya are at your feet. This is yours. Tera tujhko arpan. Prabhu, kya lage hai mera? Not the material world, not the tangible or the intangible gains also. Everything is yours, Prabhu. Indra knew that firstly, his designation as heaven is temporary, right? Anybody can take over. So when a person is moving towards that post, Indra gets agitated. That is what we think from the outside world. Now go inside. What is Indra? Indra is our indriyas, our senses. The taste, sense of taste, the sense of touch, karmendriya, gyanendriya, all of these indriyas which like to roll around in the world outside. They revel in the world outside, the sensuous pleasures. And when somebody is able to control these indriyas, all the senses, and move them inwards towards the Lord, who gets agitated? The king of the indriyas. He's afraid. He troubles. And yes, that will happen most of the time when one is able to control all the senses and pull them inwards. The challenges are going to be greater because Indra is getting uncomfortable. Suddenly, he is not in control. Suddenly, you have become the master and your senses are not your masters. Aren't we currently but the slaves of our senses? Of course we are. We are the slave of smell. We are the slave of what we hear. We are the slave of our legs. We go wherever it takes us. We are the slave of our tongues. We want to eat whatever. We want to speak whatever. We are the slaves of our mind. We are the slave of everything that we consider to be masters of. Kuch nahi. And when somebody starts taking control, that is when Indra gets agitated. This is what is happening over here. Indra is totally agitated. And he is like, no, I cannot let this yagna get completed. I cannot let the slave become my master. The so-called slaves. We think we are the masters. We are not. The first thing on this journey to self-realization is the understanding that we are not the masters. We are the slaves of our sense organs. We are the slave of our mind. We are the slave of our body. And the minute this realization dawns that I do not want to be the slave anymore, and then the tapas and the penance and the practice starts, Indra starts getting agitated. The Indriya starts revolting. It is normal, isn't it? In a simple thing like weight loss, how much do our Indriyas revolt? Hota hai na? Ki bhi karna hai. We know this excess weight is not good for me. But this tongue, small little tongue, does not let us take something healthy. This body does not want to work out, Dard hoga. So much. Aaj nahi, we'll do it tomorrow. That excess amount of water also we do not want to drink in spite of knowing that it is good. Instead, let's have some coffee or tea or cold drink. Why? Because our Indriyas are revolting. Because we are their slaves. Try to think like this. Take up a task, simple task, and see how much resistance is being rendered. Resistance is not outside. Resistance is not because of people. Resistance is always from within. Failures don't happen because of others. We fail because we are unable to control our temptations. We are unable to stay disciplined. We are unable to stay dedicated. We are unable to pursue what is right. And this is exactly what is happening. Indra has taken charge suddenly. He hid the horse because that was the last yagna that needed to be completed. Now the sons of Subati. Subati is good bati, right? Good thinking, good thoughts. Kubati is bad thoughts. The sons of Subati, positive sons, positive thoughts, 60,000 of them went to look for the horse, but Indra brainwashed them. The good thoughts were turned into bad, and temptation took over. And what happened was the good thoughts were destroyed. कैसे destroy हुई the good thoughts? Finished, because they were taken over by negativity, because Indra took charge again. Our Indriyas took charge again. And because of that, when they came in the company of Kapila Muni. Who is Kapila Muni? We have read about Kapila Muni in the beginning chapters of Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. And Kapila Muni did not destroy them. He did not turn them into ashes. He did not burn them. A sage is very compassionate. A sage would not kill anybody. A sage would not use his powers to destroy. Sage would always use his powers for good. So it is not that Kapila Muni turned them into ashes. No. It is actually their own karmas. They were already turned into ashes. And this good thought became bad thought. And the bad thought, when it came near a sage, Kapila Muni, God, almost got destroyed. This is what it is trying to say. When you are coming into the company of a good person, an elevated person, in the vicinity of the positive, the negative melts away. And this is what happened. It's a beautiful story. Look at how it is flowing. It is amazing to see the analogy, how our sages are trying to explain things to us. It is just flowing. In fact, Bhagwat is flowing from the first canto to the second canto to the third canto, one chapter to the other. It is a flow. None of our scriptures are random compilation of anything. There is a thought. A simple novel or a fiction book that you're reading has a flow. Won't these scriptures have a flow? They do. They have taken us so far slowly. And the great sages, they always ask, have you read the Bhagwat? And you say, yes, I have read it. How many times? One. Till you have read it 5 times, you have not even read it. As per their definition. 20 बार पढ़ोगे तब थोड़ी समझ आएगी. And we feel कि हाँ हमने ये कर लिया है. It is not like a tick on your agenda. Like, you are going as a tourist. There are certain tick mark tourists, right? You go to a place and they want to tick, okay, we have seen all this. No. This is not how the scriptures are read. Take your time. Experience every chapter. Go into the depth of it. Think about it. What is it saying to you? Over here, it's so beautiful how Indra can take over. What happens when you are in the company of a sage? What happens when bad thoughts take over? What happens when you are uttering negative words to a sage? In the company of good, the bad gets destroyed, isn't it? So the minute Kapila Muni opened his eyes, it is said that all the 60,000 sons turned into ash. 60,000 of them. And the horse was still there behind him grazing. Kapil Muni went back to his tapasya. What would he do? Did Kapil Muni get angry? See, think about it. Now, sages are all sattvic. Anger is tamasic. Kapil Muni is Sakshat avatar of Sri Hari. He is fully sattva. Can tamas ever take over him? Can tamas ever take over these sages? We actually derive a wrong meaning and then say, oh my God, the sage is cursed. There is never a curse. As we go on and we understand the story of Ganga coming to the earth, we'll realize that this was not a curse. The sage did not burn them. Kapil Muni merely opened his eyes and they became totally ashes. Now, tamogun, ignorance in the form of anger, can never touch a sattvic person, and whose divine person is capable of purifying the whole universe. How can he be attached to anything negative? How can there be a sense of difference between a friend and a foe in a sage like Lord Kapil, says the Bhagwat? It is not possible. So, saying that Kapil Muni got angry because he was cursed and hence he turned all these people into ashes is wrong interpretation. This was the scenario where they came and they became ashes. There was no anger, there was no ego, because a sage is beyond fame and defame. You can hit a sage, the sage won't get angry. You can applaud a sage, the sage would not gloat. Praises and negativity does not affect a sage. And this was the situation here also. So far, Indra is successful. The horse is there. Sagar has not been able to complete his yagna. Right? And the sons, 60,000 of them, are destroyed. Sumati, destroyed. And negativity also. Now there is no thought whatsoever. Basically zero. Over there in the kingdom, Raja Sagar is waiting. He is waiting for his 60,000 sons to come back with the horse. However, the 60,000 sons did not come. A lot of time went by, and the time for the yagna to be completed was actually, that Muhurat was coming near. So Sagar went to his grandchild. He said, Anshuman, would you go and look for the horse? Now, who is Anshuman? Anshuman is the son of Asmanjas. And Asmanjas is the son of Keshani, who is the second wife of Raja Sagar. Now, Keshani's son Asmanjas, what is the meaning of Asmanjas? Look at the way the names have been chosen. It is like when you read the scriptures, you really wonder what kind of an author was Vedvyasji. And what kind of situation? Asmanjas. Asmanjas means confusion. Confused. Not good. But ignorant. That's Asmanjas. A one who is confused. Asmanjas tha. I did not know what to do. I was in double mind. So his name was Asmanjas. But Asmanjas was not actually what people saw him to be. See, many a times, the sages do not want to be disturbed. That is one characteristic of a sage, because once you know the futility of the world, the temporary, transient nature of every relationship, the temporary, transient nature of every possession, you do not want to indulge in it anymore. The temporary, transient nature of every conversation. Everything is hollow, everything is empty, everything will pass like a passing cloud. So the sages do not want to interfere. Now the thing with Asmanjas was, in his previous birth, he had strayed from the path of yoga through evil association. The importance of association, the importance of the company we keep. Are we vigilant? Or we are okay to keep any company as long as we do not get bored? Time pass. That's what. अरे time ही pass नहीं होता. भाई time कैसे pass नहीं होता? There is so much to do. 24 hours are also less. This human birth so precious, and you just want to pass it off with company of just anybody, not being vigilant about whose company you are keeping. Asmat just made a mistake of keeping the wrong association when he was at a very high state of his sadhana. And what happened to him is he fell. And he remembered his previous birth when he was reborn as the son of Sagar. Now he remembered that I was a tapasvi, a yogi, very high in my sadhana. Just because of the wrong company, I fell. And this birth, I'm not going to make any error. Hence, I want no company. Now, how do you know whether some company is good or bad, right? Now, we know. Because we know everything. We know what is good. We know what is bad. That is the problem, right? Now, Asmat just said, I don't know. So, I don't want any company. Many people say, Arey nahi, we have to help the people who are wild. Do you know who is wild? Are you wild or he is wild? What makes you so sure that you are a good person? What makes you so sure that you are an elevated human being? What makes you so sure that you have reached and you can help somebody else? Bhai, if a trunk, a big strong trunk of a tree is trying to sail across one shore to another, like, one bank to another in a river, if somebody holds on to it, he can also get to the other side. But suppose there is a small little twig which is floating, barely making it from one side to the other of the bank, and somebody holds it, not only will the stick drown, but so will you. So, पर कई बार ना एक stick को भी भ्रम हो जाता है कि I am a big tree trunk. What we consider good that we are doing is something that is normal to human beings. Humans are supposed to do good. There is nothing extraordinary that has to be said, or there is no applause you need to get for doing good deeds, because that is what it is supposed to be. But yes, when something negative is being done by you, negative is being said by you, then scrutiny or a punishment is deserved. But no applause is to be given for good deed. Unfortunately, every time a child does something good, we say very good. So the child feels that, oh, I have done something beyond the ordinary or beyond the expectations. No. Being good is the human way. And this is what? Asmat just got caught in wrong company. Again, company. What company do we keep determines us. There are people, right? There is a very famous saying, bring me 5 types of people you talk to or you are closest to, I will be able to tell what kind of a person you are. Yes, you are the company you keep. The birds of a feather flock together. Yes, that is the way it is. And you can become the company you keep. When you are in the company of a sage, when you are in the company of God, when you keep looking at his feet, slowly his characteristics will get rubbed into you. But we do not think like that, right? We are not very choosy when it comes to company. We can be very choosy when it comes to food, but we are not choosy when it comes to our company. And we'll say, oh my God, if we start behaving so pickily, we will be left alone. But alone is better. It is better to be alone than to be in the company of people who will result into our demise. That is it. Simple. So what is good company? What is bad company? बड़ा confusion है. Yes, Asmanjas को भी यही confusion सा, hence his name. Asmanjas. He said, last time I was a yogi. I got into wrong company. I have to come back. Now I do not want to make any mistake. I want no company, zero company. And for that, what did he do? He started creating illusions. Bhai tapasvi to thi, so he had powers. So he created illusions. He used to behave like a wild fellow. He would hit people. He would hurt the old people. He would go around destroying villages after villages. He would burn the huts of the villages. And to the extreme, his father Sagar would wonder, what have I done to get a son like this? He went a step forward. Because his father was still forgiving him. His father was still thinking that he'll become a better person. His father was still giving him chances. So he said, I'll take you a step forward. What he did was he started catching hold of babies, small babies, and he would drown them in the river. One baby, two baby, and this became too much for Raja Sagar. He said, what kind of a person are you? You burned people, you used to hurt people, you used to kill people, now you're attacking innocent babies, you're drowning one baby after another. People are asking for justice. I disown you as a son, and hence now on, go to the jungle, live there. You're not worth being in the company of civilized people. That very moment, when Asmanjas was exiled, magic happened. All the children that he had drowned came to life again. All the houses that he had burnt became normal again. All the people that he had hurt were free from any injury. All the old people that he had killed became alive again. It was just a delusion that he had created so that people would leave him alone and his father would let him go to do his tapasya. And hence, Asmanjas made everything all right. And he went away into the deepest of villages to do his deepest of jungle to do his penance. And Asmanjas' son was Anshuman. Now, agar Asmanjas was so divine, how would his son be? He was divine. Now you'll say it is not necessary. Yes, it is not necessary. There are a lot of elements. Some are controllable, some are uncontrollable. Unfortunately for people, we are always focused on the uncontrollable and we do not work on what we can control. But vasana, karma, everything is not in my control. But how I can make my child, through my behavior, my vyavhar, my mannerisms, is in my control. Work on the controllable, leave the uncontrollable. Over here, Asmanjas' son was Anshuman. Asmanjas went to the jungles to do his tapasya. Anshuman was there, and over here Raja Sagar summoned Anshuman and he said, please, 60,000 of your uncles have gone. They have not come back. Anshuman, please go and look for them and get that horse back, my dear child. Go as fast as you can. And Anshuman said, don't worry, grandfather, I'll be back. Before you know, I'll also make sure that I get my 60,000 uncles back with me. You sit here and focus on your tapas. Don't get distracted. I will do what is needed. Saying this, Anshuman went away to look for his 60,000 uncles and the horse. We will just cover this much today because I feel there is a lot to think in this story. It rattles me actually. This thing rattles me so much that firstly, the realization that we are not independent entities. Our ancestors, our descendants, we are like a chain, and slight bit of, we are the chain, and anything that changes in me changes in them. Just like Raja Harishchandra, by refusing to go to heaven with his body, nullified the error done by Trishanku, isn't it? Trishanku wanted to ascend with his body. Harishchandra, in the stories when we read, he refused it. So it was balanced off. So Trishanku's error was corrected by Harishchandra so that the lineage which comes is not deluded. Again and again, being a part of a greater entity, when you have the power to affect the past as well as the future, it's a big responsibility, isn't it? With that kind of a responsibility, would you not think again? Would you not be very vigilant about your behavior? Would you not always be in awareness that Because it is not only me which is being affected, the past and the future. And if the past and the future, everything around me is connected. You know, these long names of lineages which they give. It is to tell you that you are connected to everything around you. One negative thought that we send into the universe creates a ripple effect. In the same way, one positive thought that we send to the universe creates a ripple effect. We are the creators. And over here, where his ancestors, where his grandfather and great-grandfather, they were not able to hold on to the kingdom, Sagar got the kingdom back. For them, he became a universal monarch. Just imagine. What was lost by the previous generation was gained back by Sagar. When they talk about universal monarch, I feel whatever flaw there must have been in that previous generation's mannerisms was rectified by Sagar. And in the process, he did not punish, he did not suppress any of the negative tendencies. He just sublimated. He did not dwell in the negative. He said, okay, this is the negative tendency. It has to be eradicated. It was not suppressed. He kept working on the positive, acknowledging this is bad and slowly removing it. And then he had those sons. He was able to do the yagna. He could become the ruler of his own self, the knower of the self, the controller of the body and mind and senses. And when this happened, Indra got agitated. The so-called sons of Sumati, which is good thinking, wise thinking, were overpowered by Indra, right? And they became negative thoughts. And these negative thoughts, when they came in the vicinity of a sage, were destroyed. It's a beautiful analogy. And this Asmanja's son was Anshuman. See, wherever there is a confusion and doubts are not bad. Our scriptures encourage debate. Our scriptures encourage questions. Our scriptures encourage healthy curiosity. But they do not encourage doubt. They do not encourage demeaning. Shamshay, no doubt. Have faith. Walk in faith and then question. And when that kind of asmanjas, positive asmanjas, where he knows, see, I cannot differentiate between the good and bad. So it is better that I stay away. To be very honest, none of us can. We feel that we can. This is bad, this is good. No, it is all a result of our preconceived notions and our conditioning. What is good in our society is bad in another society. What is good for our country is bad for another country. The mannerisms we follow, considering it cordial and nice, are condemned in another place. So these are all a result of our conditioning. So then there is an asmanjas where you say ki bhai pata hi nahi hai. So what do? You take Sharnagati of the scriptures. You take Sharnagati of the Lord. You say, Prabhu, mujhe to nahi samajh aa raha, mujhe to nahi pata, boodha main, fool I am. Please take over and help. And the outcome of that is Anshuman. And Anshuman has been sent now. I do not know whether it has come across clearly or not. Do read, do listen, do think about it again. It is beautiful. Our scriptures are so amazing. Every time you read them, there is a deeper revelation. They reveal something beyond what you could comprehend. The same story, the same stanza, the same sage, in how he must have looked at all the children. But this requires a lot of manan. And manan does not need one to just sit in one corner. No, not needed. We have 1,001 things going on in our mind, isn't it? We'll buy this, we'll buy that. He said this to me, he said that to me. I don't know what will happen. all that thought can be replaced by one of these things. And then see, there will be a sway in your walk, a music in your talk, and life will start becoming better. Scriptures just make a better you. The thought of God makes a better world. They are not telling us to leave the world. They are not asking us to leave anything. They are just telling us to make the world a better place. ना जग छोड़ो ना हरी भूलो, करम कर जिंदगानी में, जियो दुनिया में यो जैसे कमल रहता है पानी में, कमल रहता है पानी में. जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राम. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी अब जय बोलो हनुमान की. बोलो बजरंग बली की जय. जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान.